zones. Oh, and Antonia, thank you for starting the recording. For those of you who asked and want to share this, we are going to take a moment today in the midst of the 2022 combined federal campaign to celebrate the successes that we're having, share some of our best practices, get to know each other. So very briefly, what we are going to do today is we are a group that represents what we call 4 of the combined federal campaign zones. And you're going to hear a little bit from each of us through this conversation. And then there will be certainly an opportunity to ask questions. What we would ask is that you go ahead and mute if you're not speaking so we can hear clearly. Please engage with us in the chat. Let us know you're here, where you're from, how long you've been with CFC. And if you have a question, go ahead and put it in there so that we can get right on that. So I want to welcome you once again. You are the reason that we all enjoy being part of this with you. I am a contractor and I come back year after year because of each of you, because you bring the passion and the love and the goodness together. Come on in. Debbie's going to reboot and join us here in a minute. And I don't want to spend too much time talking because we want to hear from you. And we are going to start today together. We are CFC with our good colleague, Michael Herrick, who has already won a very special award on this presentation for the very best backdrop. So, Michael, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in this wonderful work, we would love to hear from you.
Michael, you might be muted. There you go.
No, I was just unmuting. Took me just a second there.
Gotcha.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, coordinators and past coordinators. I am the chair of the Southeast Tri-State CFC Zone 21 LFCC. That's Local Federal Coordinating Committee. And in that volunteer role, I get to see a lot of what goes into the CFC. But I think my most important role that I've ever played with the CFC is as a key worker and working directly with the donors. So I continue this role at Maxwell Air Force Base Elementary Middle School as the key worker, or sometimes the face of the CFC. I've been doing it for a while. Every time we have a gathering, I wear my shirt. Here's my shirt. Oops, I went too far back. I disappeared into my background. Sorry about that. I'm wearing it backwards for you. It says, ask me about the CFC. So people know that I'm the CFC representative. I go and speak with every person at least one time to make them the ask. This year I've made you got to get this just right, don't you, with the background? This year I've made this little flyer to drop off with them. It said old CD labels. We were going to throw those out anyways. We don't use CDs anymore. So I said, hey, I could use those. Something to hand to people. I always like that when I'm talking about the CFC and asking them to make some donations. So I am the CFC. I am the CFC to my local people. I'm the face of the CFC, but you are the CFC too, and you are very important. The CFC really runs on volunteers. There are people at OPM and they do hire people, but the majority of people that work on the campaign are volunteers. So thank you very much for volunteering and bringing your expertise. I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it because I always do every year. So you are the CFC. So together, the volunteers, the employees, and our donors, together, we are the CFC. So I would like to talk to you just for a few minutes about being the face of change. Not so much the face of change in the world, which hopefully we're making a little dent in that by soliciting donations and giving to people in need, but kind of thinking about changing the CFC ask, changing the way we interact with our donors, looking for new ideas. I know we have a couple of CFC heroes on this talk today. We have past coordinators and people that have thought up new and interesting ways to try and get donors on board, to try and make them aware of the CFC and what we do, and to try and get their donation, or at least look into donating. So my idea this year, and I've been running it by the people from my zone, my idea this year is a CFC giving tree. It is like a Christmas tree, or a Hanukkah tree, or a Kwanzaa tree, or a New Year's tree. It's a tree. And it would have some ornaments on it that tell our local CFC charities. So I'm going to show you one. I made this myself. I'm not very good at arts and crafts. So here goes. So, and I'm also not very good at getting this thing in. Here we go. Here's my ornament, one of my ornaments for the tree. This is one out of about 30 pieces of art that I have for the CFC. A lot of the art comes from our zone charities. And so I made that ornament, and my plan is to have a tree, have the ornaments on the tree symbolic of our local charities, have a sign in front, in this season of giving, please consider giving through the CFC, having some brochures, having a little QR code to scan there. I'm going to do it in my unit, or the elementary middle school, and I am working hard to put it in our local base exchange. They have a lot of rules and stuff, so I've been, I luckily contacted the manager, and she gave me some ideas. So I'm working on that. So for this year, my new idea, or my change, or my new way of asking would be the CFC giving tree. And you're going to hear from people that had new ideas, and hopefully that will steer you up to come up with some new ideas. So together, we're all the CFC. Please try and be the face of change, and try to think outside the box when you are soliciting donations from your colleagues and fellow workers. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much, Michael. It was so good to hear about the giving tree. We hope you send us pictures so we can share it with all of our coordinators so they can see what it looks like when you're all done. And for everyone just joining, if you will put on the chat where you're from and what office you're with, that would be great as well. All right, Marty, I'm turning it back over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was so interesting and exciting. Michael, thank you so much for a couple of wonderful things. You've showed us how to make a backdrop. That's pretty exciting. That CFC, you've come up with some really creative ideas here. And Michael is from the Southeast Tri-State area and specifically in Florida, correct? Yes? No? See, embarrassed. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, where is my
Roll Tide?
Oh, Tide. Okay. So next we're moving into Oklahoma and North Texas area, and we have our wonderful colleagues, Bailey Gordon, who is the amazing and wonderful zone manager for that area, is going to tell us a little bit about what goes on there in the great state of Oklahoma and North Texas. So turning it over to Bailey Gordon.
All right. Thank you, Marty, for the awesome introduction. I learned everything that I know about CFC from Marty. So she's got an Oklahoma flag. I love it. Um, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Like Marty said, I am very glad that I get to represent Oklahoma, North Texas today and also work with all of our wonderful federal employees here. So I've got a couple of really incredible coordinators that you're going to hear from a little bit later. We have W. Glean from the Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center and Michael Flores from the VA in Muskogee, Oklahoma. So they are going to be sharing with you a little bit later about the things that they do to engage their colleagues and their experience. But I wanted to take a moment to recognize Oklahoma and North Texas's National Hero Award winner from last year, Captain Naomi Villalobos. Captain Villalobos and the entire Shepherd Air Force Base team did an incredible job last year. You can see here in the little blurb about her on the slide, they really went from having 12 donors in 2020 to having more than 180 in 2021. So they just did an incredible job of getting more participation. That also more than quadrupled the dollars raised for the CFC at Shepherd. And it really just ignited them and started a fire. We have been down there again this year already with this year's team of CFC leaders, and did an incredible training with about 40 or 50 key workers in person, which was awesome because we haven't been able to do that in the past. But Captain Villalobos and her team did an incredible job. They had an events coordinator. They had people representing the different squadrons who were on their committee and helping out. And what I really loved was that they didn't necessarily plan extra CFC things. They just really capitalized on events that were already taking place on base so that they could be visible and engage with people. So they did, they have told me that even this year they're already planning, they do 5K Fridays, and they already have printed CFC water bottle labels and have already labeled water bottles that they can pass out to all of the people who are participating in that. Last year, they had a whole photo booth set up at one of their holiday events that was CFC related, and also gave out those little wooden coins with the QR code on the back so that people could remember to give. So they have just done a really great job of making CFC a part of the culture during this season, and making giving and generosity a part of just what they do at Shepherd Air Force Base. So congratulations to Captain Villalobos and all of her team, and I know we're looking forward to another really fantastic campaign there this year.
Hey, thank you so much, Bailey. We love our Oklahoma people. We love our Air Force bases. They really engage and get involved in the Combined Federal Campaign. So thank you, Bailey. My name is Antonia Gonzalez, and I am the campaign manager here, local zone manager for North Texas Combined Federal Campaign. And I am going to just talk a little bit about one of our 2021 CFC heroes, Ms. Donis Mack, with the Internal Revenue Service. So Donis has actually been a supporter of the Combined Federal Campaign for years. I've been with the CFC for 12 years, and she was with the CFC way before I even started. Not only does she serve as the campaign coordinator for Internal Revenue Service here in North Texas, she is also a member of the local federal coordinating committee that oversees the work that we do on the Combined Federal Campaign. So Donis actually pretty much handles IRS across this the northern Texas region. There's a couple of locations in Dallas, and then Farmers Branch. We have a Fort Worth office as well. And she is amazing at doing this outreach to about 4,000 federal employees each and every year. She was recognized as a hero last year, nominated as a hero last year, because of the work that she did to make sure that every single IRS person is able to actually see their office, see their unit whenever they go in to log in and make their pledge. And so she pulled together all of the records of every single line of business within IRS at each location, and worked with me to try to make sure that everything was in the database. And so we did a massive update through OPM to really make sure that IRS employees were able to fully recognize themselves and not need to do a search or try to figure out where they may fit in. So that really helped to up the pledges that IRS employees were able to make, and they actually met their goal and raised $65,000 last year, just here in North Texas. So just wanted to applaud Donis, all of her efforts, and her continued support of the Combined Federal Campaign for 2022. And I am going to go ahead and turn it back over to actually Mississippi Delta. We have a wonderful loan executive, Miss Nicole with IRS, and loan executives actually help support the Combined Federal Campaign. They are loaned from their agency to the CFC to help do outreach within their area. And so Nicole is joining us from Memphis, Tennessee, and she is going to speak a little bit about Vita Smith, who works with her at Internal Revenue Service and serves as the Combined Federal Campaign Coordinator for IRS.
Hello, I'm Nicole Langston Baker, and I will be speaking on behalf of Vita Smith. Vita Smith was our campaign manager for the first year last year, and she did an excellent job. She worked tirelessly on the campaign. She was very, very diligent. She made sure that every employee had an opportunity to hear about the campaign and to know. She went around. We had different agency fairs. We sent several emails out. She did everything she could to make sure we met our goal. We actually exceeded the goal under her leadership by 32%. She has been an excellent campaign manager, and I'm looking forward to an excellent season with her this year. And again, as Antonia said, I am the 2022 loan exec, and this is my first year in this position. I have been a key worker since probably I started the service. I know I've been a key worker, captain. This is my first time in the loan exec role for the last 15 years. I love doing CFC. I love the idea of having an opportunity to give back in this way. I also volunteer, not monetarily, but I volunteer my time. I'm actually going to be working with the Memphis Food Bank here in my city in the next coming week, me and my son. So I also volunteer my time and money because I love what we're able to do. This is our one time to give back to our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Appreciate you so much, all of the work that you do to help support us. Nicole is such a cheerful and welcoming person, and we love having her on our team. So thank you, Nicole, for speaking on Vita and all of the wonderful work that she's doing there in Mississippi Delta. And then we're going to go ahead and switch it over to Southeast Tri-State and have Michelle Werner speak about Maxwell Gunter CFC Heroes.
Hi, everyone. I am your Southeast Tri-State Zone Manager. And we had 2 heroes from Maxwell Air Force Base last year. They really did an amazing thing. They took their giving and raised it by over $50,000 from the previous year and tripled their number of donors. And no pressure, Master Sergeant Tillman, who is this year's coordinator, and I know she's on the call, and she's already hit the ground running, training everyone at Maxwell Air Force Base. I heard accolades about the training, so I'm sure she's going to do just as well. They weren't able to join us. One of them is on a ship and the other one wasn't able to make the meeting today. But if you want to talk to them about what they did, Captain Ashley Reynolds is willing to make herself available. I think one of the things that really was a hit for them, and you heard Bailey mention it, and one of their other bases did it, was that CFC themed photo prop. So if you have an event, that's a really neat idea to just print out some CFC stuff, do the photo booth, and then they ended up putting those pictures out to everyone else on base, which, you know, people had fun with, and it really helped promote CFC, made everyone think about it and remember it. And it was obviously very successful for them. So congratulations to both Captain Ashley Reynolds and Master Sergeant David Schenk.
And thank you, Michelle. I think I'm up next. So I have a huge privilege to get to recognize Debbie Glean. This is my third year to get to work with her since as I've been involved with the CFC, and Debbie has been involved with CFC for a very long time, and I have learned so much from her. But I will say that her enthusiasm is truly unmatched for this campaign, and the way that she leads the Mike Maroney Aeronautical Center with joy. And, her goal is really to bring people together for all of these incredible causes. So I get to introduce Debbie. I will let you have more time than me. So, Debbie, I will have you take it away. Oh, I think Debbie is muted. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now to see.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. It is such an honor to be with the rest of you. And I love sharing ideas and successes across the United States. I've learned so much from you guys. If you see me on my phone, I've been taking notes on your ideas, and I'm going to steal some of them, so they've been great. I think, for me, I've had to really think outside of the box. We have been in full tolerance status for the last couple of years, and I had to draw on some past aging
I was
myself
thinking it
here.
was just me. Debbie, your audio is very distorted. Can you try stopping or muting and then redoing, and let's see if that works.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you don't have your phone on or anything, do you?
I do not. I'm in one of our conference rooms, and
Oh, that's better.
That's better.
Closer, that got
is that
better.
better? Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. I just
That's
want to say
perfect.
I'm stealing some of your ideas. I love them, and I love sharing across the United States. I don't think we should be siloed in our ideas. I don't think they're regional. I think people are people, no matter where you are. And because we've been in a full telework status the last couple of years, I've had to really dig deep and get creative. And first thing I did was create an internal CFC theme to our Mike Maroney Aeronautical Center. So although we want to be the face of change and show some love, we decided to also create internal themes that embraced, our employees are struggling in many ways, whether it's mentally or emotionally or financially. And so we created themes that showed this year's causes and compassion, that although we want to help our community, we can also help ourselves and each other. And we have the charities at our fingertips to help ourselves. So it's okay to not be okay and to reach out to these charities ourselves. And when we do that, we're able to create these success stories that we can share with other employees and show that not only are we helping the community, but we're helping our own employees, we're helping ourselves, and sharing those stories out in our overall center campaign. And so 2 years ago, when we first went into telework, I dug deep and I thought about those Jerry Lewis telethons. I don't know if everybody's old enough to remember that. So we created a virtual telethon, and that was so easy to do with a 9 to 4 o'clock schedule, where we just laid in a skeleton of what we wanted to do and charities we wanted to bring in. And then we gave our employees opportunities to fill in the blanks. We had cooking demonstrations, animal feedings, musical performances, art lessons, touching stories, virtual charity visits. And I'm happy to help anybody if you want to know how to set up a telethon. We set up Zoom backgrounds that looked like a phone bank and just did all kinds of fun things. I'm so sorry. I've been talking all day for a leadership tour. I apologize. I'm so sorry. And I say you just have to get creative. I'm so sorry. Just get creative. And if you have a new idea for an event and you're told no, I would ask you to do your research and keep questioning. If you feel your ideas are within the constraints of what we're allowed to do, I've learned with like legal departments and the government entities and managements with CFC, sometimes they start with no. And so just keep asking if you have an idea and you feel like it's okay. And what I found is successful is to reach out to my volunteers. I've got some of my most wonderful longtime volunteers on this call. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I tend to try to do everything myself. So if I reach out to your team and people want to be asked to participate, so don't be afraid to make the ask and just get creative. Push the envelope on events and try to touch on the old school CFC participants that you got and the new generations of CFC participants. And I think that's what makes a campaign successful, is reaching all of those generational marks in your marketing and your messaging. And I think that's what makes a successful campaign.
Thank you so much, Debbie. That was amazing. We appreciate all the work that you do, all the effort that you put in year after year, and you really helped to make the campaign super successful for Oklahoma and Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center. So thank you. And I'm going to pull the PowerPoint back up, and I'm going to speak really quickly on another one of our North Texas heroes for 2021. So Robin Tijerina, she is with the Dallas, West Texas, I don't know why I put Dallas VHA on this PowerPoint, I apologize. She is West Texas VHA, and she has really brought so much life back into the campaign there. There was pretty much a non-existent campaign prior to her starting as a campaign coordinator there. And she actually brought so many different fun events into the campaign. She had an event every month, one around Halloween, one for Thanksgiving, a Christmas event, but they really kind of capped it off at the end of the season for the Finish Strong campaign. She actually made these fun little CFC bucks, and so they had money, of course, fake money, with CFC logos on it and CFC causes, and they basically hid them in various spots across the hospital. And when they hid all of this money, they would kind of give clues to where federal employees could find the CFC bucks. And then as they've collected the CFC bucks, they kind of would hold on to it, because a week later they had their silent auction with a bunch of various items that had been donated by various coordinators or key workers, even other federal employees, and then people could bid on those items with their CFC bucks. And really it was just to bring that fun and enthusiasm, whether people gave or didn't. It was just to bring everybody together in support of the CFC and awareness of the CFC, and really just speaking to all of the charitable organizations who participate and those that we really want to help to support year after year. So I just thank Robin. Unfortunately, she's not our campaign coordinator this year because she's moved on to another position at another facility, but she has some great replacements at the helm who will be carrying on all of the work that she did at West Texas VA last year, and helping to move that forward and continue a successful campaign in West Texas. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Michelle to introduce Captain Iatropolis.
Hi, again, I'm the Southeast Tri-State Zone Manager, and I'm really excited to introduce you guys to our next speaker. She's the lead CFC coordinator for Tyndall Air Force Base. And there's a lot of unique things about this. Their giving hasn't been that high in the past couple of years. And in fairness, this is a base that was hit by a very bad Hurricane Michael, a few years ago. So a lot of their efforts were toward rebuilding. And then in comes Captain Nicole Iatropolis, who had just shown up and and gets assigned to be the CFC, voluntold maybe, I'm not sure about that, she'll have to tell you, but to be the CFC coordinator for Tyndall Air Force Base. And she has truly been a change maker, hit the ground running. She has a great event planned for November 10th, which she's going to share a little bit about, so you guys can hear about how that could be put together for a base. And most impressively, she has already more than doubled the pledges for Tyndall Air Force Base from last year. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Nicole so she can share with you what she's doing at Tyndall.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was a really great introduction. But I want to say that I believe that the CFC really kicked off well because of Michelle's efforts. I think that people are craving that in-person contact, and Michelle was able to come down to Tyndall and do an in-person training with us. So I really think that legitimized the program. And so our key workers got started from the beginning, knowing that this is a great program to give to, or campaign to give to rather. And also with Michelle, her passion towards non-for-profits and explanations that she gave were great. But like she mentioned, we're planning an event on November 10th. It's called the Tyndall Info Fair. And so I don't think a lot of people know that there's a lot of agencies on Air Force bases. I can't speak for Army, Navy, Marine Corps, but on the Air Force base, we worked with our marketing folks here, and we're going to have a bunch of agencies within Tyndall represented, some outside entities. There's been some vendors where they're going to have prizes, and we have free food. And then we also have 5 to 6 charities that are going to be in attendance to educate people on what they do, and to also, and Michelle will be there to let people know that they can give to these charities through the CFC. So that's a big thing. I don't think in the past, especially the past 4 to 5 years after Hurricane Michael, we haven't done anything like this regarding the CFC. So again, legitimizing the campaign. Another thing that we're planning on doing, because our leadership is very supportive of the CFC, is we're going to do a note that's going to go to all of our personnel within Tyndall around Thanksgiving, because I know people are tend to have a giving heart around the Thanksgiving holiday, and Christmas for that matter. But our leadership has said that they would be willing to send out a note to everybody explaining the CFC and to encourage people to donate. Also, if you come on Tyndall, you'll notice that we have the signs that Michelle so generously gave to us. We have them peppered out everywhere. We've worked with public affairs to get the CFC on the marquee. So as soon as you come through Tyndall Gate, you'll be blasted by the CFC and the dates and the website of where to give. Another thing that we're planning on doing is a lot of our personnel are frequent visitors to our base exchange. So we're going to set up a booth around the holidays. It'll probably be more towards Christmas, where we'll have our key workers volunteer, and we'll be handing out some goodies that Michelle gave to us and educating people on the different charities that are involved with the combined federal campaign. Lastly, in January, we wanted to follow up with more of a personal note from unit commanders, since they have more one-on-one interaction with our members. And so that'll be our final push, is for our key workers to coordinate with their unit commanders to endorse the campaign and also promote to give. And before we do that, though, I want to speak at the staff, our wing staff meeting, to get our commanders buy-in for them to actually donate, so they can speak personally in their note in January of what charities they're passionate about and why they chose to give with the combined federal campaign. Here at Tyndall, seeing that our last couple years have been rough, our goal has been 100% in-person contact, which we're doing a great job with that. We started out with emails, and now people are going around face-to-face asking people to donate to the combined federal campaign. But I think that it's just the passion that's behind the campaign, and that all started with Michelle coming here to Tyndall. So I'm very, very appreciative of your help, and this has been quite a delight being involved with this campaign. It's been my first time, so thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And one thing Nicole's doing really well that everyone needs to think about is, you could hear just in everything she was describing that the people on Tyndall are really going to be touched at least 4 to 6 times with a reminder about giving to the CFC, which in the world of philanthropy, that's what they say is needed for people to actually remember and go on and take the action to give. And that's something that Nicole is just doing so well at Tyndall. Nicole, thanks so much for joining us. I am loving watching the Tyndall campaign, and congratulations already on blowing your goal out of the water. Way to go.
Yes, way to go. I cannot wait to see, I put it in the chat, but I can't wait to see what this 100% face-to-face like touches does for a face-to-face contact does for the CFC and for your results. So I look forward to hearing about that. I'm sure Michelle will share with us, but yeah, maybe we'll need to do another one at the end to see at the end of the campaign to see how all these fantastic ideas went. But speaking of fantastic ideas and fantastic people, I'm also glad to be able to introduce Michael Flores. He has been a superstar coordinator for all 3 years that I've been working at the campaign. And his particular Department of Veterans Affairs in Muskogee is honestly one of our very top accounts every single year. So they just continue to produce. He has such positive energy, and it just really, again, like Debbie, leads with that kindness and enthusiasm. So Michael, I will let you take it away and share kind of what makes your campaign special.
Thank you very much, Bailey. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you. Man, you guys are all rock stars. I mean, these are some fantastic ideas and events that you guys have, and I'm blown away. Pretty much, again, I'm with the Veterans Benefit Administration in Muskogee, and it's been an interesting couple years. We have been at max telework for the last 2 years due to the pandemic. I think a lot of other people are in that situation, and it's been kind of an adaptation to trying to figure out how to get CFC out. So really, the most that I've been doing is sending out those weekly emails, keeping communication open. Any assistance that's needed by our employees, I'm happy to help. Kind of keeping them in the loop as to, what our goals have been in the past, what our goal is this year, any other avenues or information I can provide, I'm happy to do so. So yeah, it's just been a different environment this year, and I'm kind of taking in all these ideas to figure out what we can do. The last couple months, we've also had a construction project. So our regional office has been closed for pretty much the whole summer. So again, all of our employees are telework, they're remote. So yeah, I appreciate all these ideas and everything everyone in CFC has done. And the assistance Bailey has given me, just fantastic. I'm blown away. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. I know that, I put that in the chat, but that consistent communication is key, and you do it better than anyone. So thank you for keeping the CFC in front of everyone. Your agency, I know it has been difficult through the past couple of years with all of that remote work, but your campaign shows that when you continue those communications, you all have stayed consistent and even grown over the past couple of years. So thank you for all of your efforts. All right, Marty, am I turning it back over to you?
Well, I am happy to close us out today. I would like to see if there are any questions. I think we have heard some really strong ideas. Everyone has been really interesting and exciting to listen to. And if you have questions that you'd like to put in the chat, I'm looking and I haven't seen any. So I think, and if you decide to drop one in, I just wanted to say that, every year dedicated people like each of you bring the CFC to your colleagues, and we cannot thank you enough for your efforts. The federal community is amazingly generous, And, you know, we celebrated 60 years of this federal tradition of philanthropy in 2021. And since its inception, the CFC has raised more than $8.6 billion for charity and people in need. And the pledges make a real and meaningful difference to a countless number of individuals throughout our community, our nation, and the world. And, you know, some people might say it takes an extraordinary person to care enough to give. I know it takes an extraordinary person like each of you to ask others to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to connect. We all want to connect to things that are meaningful to us. And you all are making that happen every day. You are what making a difference looks like, and we are honored to serve with you on this effort.
Thank you so much, Marty. Again, I just want to echo Marty's sentiments. We thank you. Thank you all for supporting. Thank all of the coordinators for all of the work that you do to promote the campaign. We are here to help you, to provide you with the answers, the information that you need. So please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us. We are more than happy to help assist and to look forward to having a wonderful, successful 2022 combined federal campaign. Thank you all.
Give yourselves a round of applause, by golly.
Team.